Happy Thursday to everybody. I'm trying something a little different just by mistake. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but you can let me know. Specifically, I'm referring to the volume because I forgot to put my headset in when I started things out. So I'm using the volume off the webcam or the microphone off the webcam. So I don't know how it's going to sound, um, but we'll try it and see how it does. Uh, and if it's not very good, we'll go back to the headset for the next game. But we're going to try it and see what happens. I'll try to speak up as much as I can and try not to mumble too much. We are at the next game on the June 23rd, 1987 schedule, game number 479 overall. We are at Comiskey Park, symmetrical ballpark, singles 1-9, home runs 1-4. Seattle comes into the game 31-38. Chicago comes in 31-35. Pitching matchup, Scott Bankhead for the Mariners against Bill Long for the White Sox. And unfortunately for Mr. Bill Long, he is 0-7 in the replay. If we look at his numbers on Real World, he was 8-8 with a 4.37 ERA, but he is 0-7 in the replay. He does have a -3 hold when you combine him with Fisk. So Bill Long does. Fisk is a 0, but Bill Long carries the -3 on his hold. So I guess that's one positive you can think of. He also has no wild pitch rating, only a 2-balk rating. So we're going to give this a go without the headset and see, if it sounds like I'm in a cave or whatever. Hopefully it's not too bad. I don't know. We will find out. Gotta get the game up on Strat computer and get it ready to go. Bill Long, get his full numbers on the replay. He is 0-7 with a 4.45 ERA. So his ERA is very much the same. He had a 4.37. He's got a 4.45. He just ran into bad luck as far as I'm concerned for his win-loss record. 59 innings pitched, 58 hits, 16 walks, 27 strikeouts. That's where we stand with Bill Long. Leading off for the Mariners will be Mickey Brantley. I did look at the game notes on the Strat computer before the game started. Last 10 games, Harold Reynolds is hitting 422. So he's the hottest of the Seattle hitters, Harold Reynolds. Harold Baines is the hottest of the White Sox hitters in the last 10 games. So a couple of Harolds going at it. All right. Brantley on the replay is hitting 286, 5 homers, 10 driven in. He hit 302 Real World. And before the first pitch, of course, tradition says ceremonial first pitch. Hello, Mark. Tabby is downstairs sleeping, so she's doing fine. Like I said, I don't know how the volume is on this thing because I don't have the headset. I'm using the mic on the webcam, and I don't know how that's going to do. This is a test kind of thing. So we'll just see how it is. That's some good coffee. All right, here's Mickey Brantley. That's a 4-3, and that's going to be a ground ball pitcher X. First play right to Bill Long. He's an E26. Computer says he's a 3 range. So it's 3 E26. 3 and an 8. 3 and an 8 for a pitcher is a G3, so he'll get to it. He is an E26. So E26, and this is that's bad. That's a 16. Actually, a 17. 17 is a 2-base error on the E26. So a 2-base error by Bill Long. So he's not helping his own cause here. A 2-base error on the pitcher, Bill Long. Not a good way for the White Sox to start. We'll put Brantley at second base with nobody out for Phil Bradley. Bradley on the replay hitting 235, 9 homers, 31 driven in. He at 297 Real World. So he is their version of Joe Carter, Mr. Underperformer. We get a 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. So we got a second X chance. This one's going to belong to Ozzie Guillen. He's a 2E21. 2 and a 5. Boy, this double die just not helping the White Sox out at all. 2 and a 5. 2 and a 5 is a G3 pound, but he was not holding the runner on, so it'll just be a G3. That's a rare play. So we'll see what happens here on the not so rare Strat-O-Matic rare plays. So we go to G3 for the rare play, and it says batter lines a shot that hits the mound. So in other words, it's not a rare play. So it's a 6-3 ground out. Brantley will take third, as only play for Guillen is to go to first. And now with one out, runner at third, the White Sox will play in. Try to choke the runoff. Scott Bradley, the catcher. He's hitting 265 on the replay, a homer and 29 driven in. He hit 278 real world. We had a 1-8, and that's a solid base hit. Single for Scott Bradley, and the Mariners take a 1-0 lead. Unearned run as Bill Long, the two-base error he committed to start the game, is coming back to haunt him. So the Mariners lead at 1-0. Scott Bradley, no threat to run, will not be held. Here's designated hitter Ken Phelps. Phelps hitting 253 on the replay, 13 homers, 36 driven in. He at 259 in the actual season. We had a 1-11, and that's a ground ball pitcher A. This one they'll turn the double play. It's a 1-6-3 double play to minimize any further damage. Pitcher's best friend. So we go to the bottom of the first. It is Seattle 1 and the White Sox coming to bat. And right-hander Scott Bankhead is on mound for the Seattle Mariners. Look at what he did real season, Scott Bankhead, 1987. He was 9-8 with a 5.42 ERA for Scott Bankhead. On the replay, he is 4-4 with an ERA of 4.72, so he's doing a little bit better than he did real world. 95 innings pitched, 89 hits, 22 walks, 49 strikeouts. And if I'm not mistaken, Scott Bankhead, I think, was on the 84 Olympic team, but I could be wrong on that. All right, here is Ozzie Guillen, shortstop. Guillen hit 269 is hitting 269 on the replay, a homer, 26 driven in. He hit 279 real world. 3-2, and that's a line out right to the hound dog, Jim Presley. And there's one away. Guillen retired. Here's Donnie Hill, second baseman. Hill hitting 205 on the replay, 2 homers, 19 driven in. He at 239 real world. It's a 1-8, and that's a ground ball to second. Harold Reynolds right there. 2 up, 2 down. And that'll take us to Harold Baines, designated hitter. He's hitting 270 on the replay, 3 homers, 24 driven in. He at 293 real world. 4-5, and that's a fly ball to center field, hauled in by John Moses, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Scott Bankhead and the Mariners. They take care of the White Sox. We go to the second, 1-0 Seattle. I know this is not the most glamorous matchup in the world, but we're playing them as they're on the schedule, east to west, as best I can do, east and west. So tomorrow we'll be in Minnesota, Cleveland and Minnesota. Will be Friday's game at the Metrodome. All right. So Baines out of there. Start the top of the second with the hound dog, Jim Presley. Presley hitting 226 on the replay, 13 homers, 48 driven in. He at 247 real world. 3-12, and that's a ballpark blast. It's only a 1-4, though, so just a deep fly to left for Presley. Just allowed out as Darrell Boston makes the catch, one away. For Alvin Davis, he's been on the not-so-hot side of the last 10 games for Seattle. But he's still hitting 286 on the replay, 13 homers, 39 driven in. He at 295 in the world. 2-7, and he will fly it to center. That is handled by Ken Williams. 2 up, 2 down. Much better start in this inning for Mr. Long. Here's John Moses, center fielder. Moses is hitting 266 on the replay. 3 homers, 32 driven in. He at 246 real world. 3-4, and that's a pop out to first base. Greg Walker will handle it. 1-2-3 inning for Bill Long, much better than his first inning, as he takes care of the Mariners in short order. Go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0 Seattle. And due up for the White Sox will be Walker, the first baseman, followed by Calderon and Fisk. So Greg Walker hitting 224 on the replay, 4 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 1-9, and he's going to walk. Base on balls to Walker. Walker walked 75 times real world. This is walk number 41 for him on the replay. He's no threat to run. Here's Ivan Calderon, right fielder, hitting 272 on the replay, 7 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 293 in the real season. It's a 3-4, and that's a ground ball third base A. That's an around the horn 5-4-3 double play. Presley to Reynolds to Davis. 5-4-3, erasing the base runner. Round the horn. 2 quick outs for Pudge Fisk, with the base is empty. Fisk hitting 284 on the replay. 7 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 2-4, and that's a home run, 1 to an 11. That's a 12. He just misses it. He'll settle with a double. So Fisk, a 2-out double for Carlton Fisk. That is double number 12 for him on the replay. He had 22 of them real world. So he's in scoring position with 2 outs now for left fielder Daryl Boston. It is a clutch situation. In the clutch, Boston will lose a hit on 2-7 and 3-8. Couple of spots there. In the replay, Boston hitting 282, 7 homers, 20 driven in. He had 258 in the real season. That's a 3-8, and he found the anti-clutch right here. We'll show it up close and personal. 3-8 on the dice, and we go up to 3-8 for Daryl Boston. You see that Omega symbol sitting right there to the left of the single. That's an anti-clutch result. So his base hit turns into a pop out to second base, and he fails in the clutch. So the clutch situation cost him. He will pop it up to Reynolds, and that will end the inning. So after 2 complete, still 1-0 Mariners. And we will go to the top of the third for Ray Quinones. Shortstop. Ray Quinones hitting 241 on the replay. 4 homers, 25 driven in. He at 276 real world. 1-5, and that's a ground ball to short. Ian all over it, 1 away. Number 9 hitter Harold Reynolds. He's now up to 302 for his batting average. No homers, 18 driven in. He at 275 real world. 1-8, and it's a 1-2 single, but that's going to be a line out right to the second baseman, Donnie Hill. Out number 2. And here's Mickey Brantley. Reached on the 2-base error by Long in the first inning, then scored on the single by Bradley. 6'9", right-handed, is a 1 for a triple. Anything else is a double, so it's a 2-out double for Mickey Brantley. And now the Mariners have a threat here in the top of the third. Clutch situation for Phil Bradley. Loses a hit on 1-7 and on 2-10 and on 2-5. So 3 hits he loses in the clutch situation. To 2-3, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. Easy play there for third baseman Royster. And that will end the inning. So the 2-out double doesn't come out to hurt the White Sox. Mariners are retired for the inning. To the bottom of the third, still 1-0. Favor the Mariners. Leading off for the White Sox, it'll be Jerry Royster, third baseman. He plays a little bit of everywhere. Third, second, short, and left field. Today he's playing third base, and that's the position listed first. I assume that means he played at third base more often than any other position when they listed first. Doesn't play any of them particularly well. It was a 4 across the board, so not very good. Royster hitting 268 on the replay. 3 homers, 9 driven in. He hit 265 real world. 3-8, and that's a base on balls. But one thing he does do fairly well is run. So he'll be looking to get a lead. That is the second walk issued by Bankhead. Bankhead is a +1 on his hold. So a 6 or a 7 will get him the good lead, Mr. Royster. And he gets the good lead. So let's look at Royster's Stolen base prowess both in the real world and in the replay. In the real season, 1987, Royster stole 4 bases, got caught twice. In the replay, stole 1 base and got caught twice. So he's going for the steal here. He's a 15. Being held makes him a 13, but the +1's a 14. 1 to 14, he steals it. And he's in there. Stolen base for Royster. That is his second stolen base of the replay to go along with 2 caught stealings. He stole 4 real world and got caught twice. So stolen base for Royster. He's at second base with nobody out, actually. Hello, Trenton. Good to see you. Like I said, I'm doing this without my microphone. I'm using the microphone in the webcam, so I don't know how the volume is on this. I forgot to set my headset in there, so I'm kind of using this as a test. And if it sounds, crappy, then I'll go back to the headset next game, like usual. But just trying it out. I figured it's a good time to test something. All right, Ken Williams hitting 182 on the replay, 2 homers, 9 driven in. He hit 281 real world. That's a 1-7, and that's a 1 to 11 double. That's a 5, so it's a double, RBI double from Ken Williams. And just like that, this game is tied at 1 apiece. Tied at 1. Still nobody out. White Sox could threaten for more. Ozzie Guillen. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I'm trying to speak up loud as well because I don't know how well this thing is. And I'm trying to not turn my head. I do have to turn my head left to enter into the Strat computer. I'm hoping when I do that, I don't, because sometimes if the microphone or whatever is stationary, you move your head or whatever, it can not pick up well. So hopefully it's doing okay volume wise. All right. So Ozzie, I appreciate the feedback, definitely, because I don't know without, until I go back and listen to it later, I have no idea. Here's Ozzie Guillen. Guillen line to third base, first time up. We get a 1-3, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Bankhead. Actually, first strikeout for either pitcher. Comes in the third inning. So Guillen out on strikes. Good morning, RN. Good to see you. Here is Donnie Hill. Hill, the second baseman. Williams still at second with 1 out. 2-8, and that's a pop out to first base. Alvin Davis is there, 2 down, so Williams still stuck at second base. In a 1-1 tie, bottom of the third. And clutch situation for Harold Baines. In the clutch, Harold Baines will gain hits, actually, in 4 locations. 1-7, 1-11, 2-3, and 3-4, and 3-10. So actually he gains 5 hits in the clutch. He gains 5 hits as a clutch hitter. Can he find one? No, he's on the pitcher card. 6'3", it's a ballpark single check, which is a 1 to 9, but he found that with an 8. Problem is, it's only a 1-star advance or 1 base advancement, so Williams can only make third base, and that's going to just pass the baton to Greg Walker. Clutch situation for Walker. Runners on the corners. Baines, no threat to run, will not be held. And let's see, Walker, he gains a hit on a 1-5, and that's it. 4-9, and that's going to be a fly to center, and Bankhead pitches around further trouble. Does give up the tying run after 3 complete. We are tied at 1 apiece from Comiskey Park. Here in, I believe it's the south side of Chicago, or it's the north. I don't remember what part of Chicago it's in, actually. I think it's the south side of Chicago, but I could be wrong. Because they were south side hitmen, so I think that's where that came from, with the White Sox back in the day. All right, so we're going to the 4th inning. Necessary sip of coffee for sure. Bill Long back out. His fatigue is a 7, so he can go for a while if he's effective. It'll be Scott Bradley leading things off. 3-9 for Bradley. He flies to center. 1 away. And that brings up DH Ken Phelps. 4-6, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We are looking at Guillen. Guillen's a 2E21. 2 and a 13, he'll get to that. E21 and a 9 shouldn't be a problem, you wouldn't think. E21, nope, 6, 15, 17 are the errors. So Guillen makes the play quite easily. 2 up, 2 down, and that's going to bring up Jim Presley. 5-5, and he pops it up to Guillen, and that's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Bill Long. Trying to get his first win of the replay. Got to get some more run support if he's going to get a win. Do it for the White Sox. It'll be Calderon, Fisk, and Boston against Mr. Bankhead. 3-3 for Calderon. He will fly it to right field, and right there is Mickey Brantley. 1 away. For Carlton Fisk. Fisk doubled his first time up. 5-3. Fly ball left field X. We are looking at the left fielder Phil Bradley. He's a 2E5. 2 and a 5 should still be okay, I would think. 2 and a 5 is an F2. That's a 10. Usually aren't too many errors on 10s. Definitely not an error in this case. So Phil Bradley able to handle that one easily. 2 up, 2 down for Daryl Boston. 5-10, and that is a ballpark single check. That's a 4, so he's going to get a base hit. 2-out single for Daryl Boston, courtesy of Comiskey Park. If he wants to try to get the lead, could do so. 2 through 7 or an 11. So he's going to try for it. 2 through 7 or an 11. And he gets the lead. He's a 15, being held as a 13, but the +1's a 14. 1-14 for Daryl Boston. And we'll check his stolen base prowess in both the real season and the replay. On the real season, he stole 12 bases, got caught 6 times. In the replay, he's stolen 9 bases, caught 5 times. So again, this is a 1-14. And he's in there. Stolen base for Daryl Boston. That is his 10th steal on the replay. He stole 12 real world. This is the 10th stolen base for him. Been caught 5 times, successful 10 times. That'll bring up Jerry Royster in a clutch situation now with the runner at second. So Royster in the clutch will gain a hit on 1-2 and 110. Also gain a hit on 210 and 310. So by stealing the base, not only getting scoring position, but it helps Royster's chance to get a base hit. 2-11, though, is going to be a triangle play. If we come down here, 17's a line out to short. Quinones snags it, and that's going to end the inning. So we go to the 5th inning with the score still tied at 1 apiece here at Comiskey Park. Long back out, and he'll face Alvin Davis, John Moses, and Ray Quinones. Davis, first time up, flew to center. 4-6, and he's going to ground it to short. Guillen again with another X chance, 2E21. 2 and a 13 is good all day long. E21, and that is a 7. E21, no, a 6 is an error, but not a 7. So he avoids the error there, makes the play on Alvin Davis, and there's 1 away. That'll send up John Moses, center fielder. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday, wherever you are. 5-9, and that's a pop out to Guillen. 2 down. And Ray Quinones, shortstop. 5-10, and that is a fly ball to center field. We're looking at the center fielder, Williams. He's a 2E9. 2 and 12, he'll get to that. E9, and that is a 10. You know, like I said, usually aren't too many errors on 10s, and in this case, there's not either. So Williams makes the play. Easy inning for Bill Long. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, still tied at 1 apiece. Due up for the White Sox, Ken Williams, and then we flip to the top of the order for Guillen and Hill. Williams doubled his last time up, had an RBI double. 2-6, this time 1-7 is a single. That's a 19. He'll line it right to Quinones for out number 1. Back to the top of the order in Guillen, he's 0 for 2. He lined to third and struck out. 1-9, and he's going to fly it to Brantley in right field for out number 2. So neither offense clicking right now. Here's Donnie Hill. He's 0 for 2. 1-5, and he'll line it to second base. So it's easy 1-2-3 inning once again for Mr. Bankhead. We go to the 6th. Still tied at 1 apiece from Comiskey Park. Due up for the Mariners, it'll be Harold Reynolds, followed by Brantley and Bradley. 110 for Harold Reynolds is a solid base hit. He'll be looking to run for sure. Reynolds on the real season had 60 stolen bases, got caught 20 times. On the replay, stolen 26 bases, caught only 3 times. So let's see what he's got here for a lead. 2 through 6 or a 9 gets him the lead. 2 through 6 or a 9. So he gets the lead with a 5. 18 being held as a 16. Minus 3 is a 13. 1-13 for Harold Reynolds to steal it successfully. And he's caught stealing. Fisk threw it down there and got him. Donnie Hill put on the tag, and that is the 4th caught stealing for Mr. Reynolds. He got caught stealing 20 times during the year. This is his 4th caught stealing on the replay. So Reynolds is out. Nice throw from Fisk. Base is clear now for Mickey Brantley. 6-6 right-hander is a fly to center field. That's 2 away. Trenton, yes. Jim Fregosi, manager of the White Sox, 77 and 85 that season. And in case you're curious, Dick Williams was the manager of the Mariners, 78 and 84 during that season. All right, so 2 away now as Brantley flies to Williams. And that'll bring up Phil Bradley. He's 0 for 2. That's a 5-8, and that's a pop out to first base. There's a dot there, but he has not hit his fatigue inning yet. So the pop out will stand. And that will end the inning. So Bill Long, other than being his own worst enemy in the first inning and committing a 2-base error, he has done very, very well for himself. Now we go to the bottom of the 6th, and this will be the fatigue inning for Scott Bankhead. As we look at, get a close-up look at Bankhead's card, we can see the fatigue there. Starter in there has a 6 right by his number there. So we start in the 6th inning, and this is his fatigue inning. Any combination of walks and hits that equal 3 or higher in this 1 inning here will cause fatigue. All right, here's Harold Baines. He will lead things off. 1-7, and that is a fly to center field. Hauled in by Moses, 1 away. Now it's just like who's going to flinch. Both pitchers are going great right now, but they could collapse at any time. Here's Greg Walker. 3-7 for Walker, struck him out. Only the 2nd strikeout for Bankhead. I don't even think Bill Long doesn't even have a strikeout yet. How about that? They're putting the ball in play. Here's Ivan Calderon. 3-6 for Calderon. That's a base on balls. That's the 3rd walk issued by Bankhead. And that's the first mark on his point of weakness that could possibly come up. Ivan Calderon going to try to get a lead. Needs a 2 through 5 to get the lead. Doesn't get it. He will hold. And here's Pudge Fisk. 1 for 2 with a double. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Bankhead, his third, to go with 3 walks. And he will keep endurance into the 7th inning. So we go to the top of the 7th. Score still tied at 1 apiece. That was 30 minutes in, and we're already in the 7th inning. Swiftly moving game to this point. This will be Bill Long's fatigue. See, he's got the number 7 there for his fatigue number. Keep an eye on that. It's going to be Bradley, Phelps, and Presley due up for the Mariners against Bill Long. 6-8, and that's trouble for Long. 1 to 10's a double. That's a 19, so Scott Bradley will settle with a leadoff single. There's the first ding on the fatigue of Bill Long. Here is Ken Phelps. That's a 1. Possible wild pitch. Bill Long's wild pitch rating is 0, though. He cannot throw a wild pitch, so no worries there. 4-9, and that's a single to center field. That's going to put runners at first and second with nobody out. Now the White Sox bullpen starting to stir. Looks like Bill Long might be starting to lose it just a little bit. Just a touch. Look at the White Sox bullpen and see who is the most rested. And do they want lefty or righty? See who's coming up. Presley's a righty right now, but then we got the lefty Davis plus a switch hitter. So it appears Ray Searage is going to be loosening in the White Sox bullpen, left-hander. So he might come on and face Alvin Davis next if Bill Long doesn't get Presley. So Presley is up first and second, nobody out. Bill Long could certainly use a double play right about now. 6-11, that's a ballpark single check. It's a 1 to 9. That's a 19, so he's going to line it to short for the first out of the inning. Now, what do you do if you're the White Sox? Do you bring in a lefty to face Alvin Davis? Bill Long has retired Davis both times. So what do you do here? I guess they're going to stick with Long. Or do they? No, they're going to the bullpen. Fergosi's going to make the move. That's going to be it for Bill Long. He's going to go 6 1/3. And again, he can't win it. He could lose it, but he can't win it. So he's still going to be winless on the replay. 6 1/3 innings pitched. Only 5 hits in a run so far, but he is responsible for both of these runners. No walks and no strikeouts. That's a very weird line there. No walks and no strikeouts. And Ray Searage, the left-hander, coming on to face the left-hander Alvin Davis. Searage is a -5 on his hold. So let's get the numbers on Searage. Look what he did real world. Ray Searage of the Sox, 2-3 with a 4.20 ERA in the real season. And we'll get the numbers on the computer. Go to the computer and bring him in. Get his replay numbers. So Searage on the replay, 1-1 with a 3.86 ERA, 21 innings pitched, 26 hits, 10 walks, 10 strikeouts. His job is to get Alvin Davis. Lefty on lefty matchup. Searage definitely a lefty specialist. 4-9, and that's a 1 to 8 single. That's a 16 though, so he lines it to Donnie Hill at second. 2 outs. So switch hitter John Moses, so it doesn't really matter who you bring in because he's a switch hitter. But I think switch hitters, generally speaking, it looks like he's probably about the same either way. So we'll stick with Searage. It is a clutch situation for Moses. He will lose a hit on 1-2 against the lefties and 2-10. 4-8, switch hitter batting right-handed. 1 to 9 is a single. That's a 16, so it's a line out to short. So 3 line outs to get out of the mess, and that's going to close the book on long. He gets a no decision. We'll see if Searage comes back. He may just been there for the 2/3 of an inning just to get these outs. So we go to the 7th inning stretch. Scott Bankhead back out. He has still pretty much good fatigue, or good endurance, I should say, because he only gave up a walk in his fatigue inning. It'll be Daryl Boston, Jerry Royster, and Ken Williams, the scheduled hitters. However, now that we're in the 7th inning, pinch hitting is allowed. So we're not sure if Chicago wants to go to the bench for any one of these players. I think they're all pretty good hitters, so they're going to leave them in there. 2-5 for Daryl Boston, and that's a ground ball to Presley at third base. 1 away. For the third baseman, Jerry Royster. That's a 2-5 for Royster. Struck him out. Strikeout number 4 for Mr. Bankhead. 2 quick outs, and it's going to bring up Ken Williams, center fielder. He is doubled and lined to short. 1-5 for Williams. That's a home run on a 1 to 14, and that's a 15. Man, he just missed it. A double for Ken Williams. How close was that? Show that in the close-up. Ken Williams on a 1-5. A 1 to 14 home run, 15 to 20 is a double, and the 15 shows up. So it's double, puts him in scoring position with 2 outs. So it's a clutch situation for Ozzie Guillen. Look at Guillen in the clutch. He will lose some hits. 1-2, 1-5. Loses 2 hits there. Williams runs well, though. It's a 16, so a base hit other than having 1 star is going to most likely score him. 6-3, left-hander, ballpark single check. 1 to 9, that's a 15. He will line it to second, and they leave the runner in scoring position. So Bankhead continues and carries endurance into the 8th inning. We played 7, and we are tied at 1 apiece. Now, what do the White Sox do? They got Quinones. They're going to go to a right-hander out of the bullpen, as Searage did his job. He got the lefties out. So he goes 2/3 of an inning, giving up nothing. And now they'll go to the right-hander out of the bullpen. And that right-hander will be Jim Wynn. I can find Jim Wynn. There he is. Jim Wynn. He's got a +1 hold. So let's get the numbers on Wynn, both in the replay and real world. In the real world, Jimmy Wynn. There he is. Jimmy Wynn, let's get focused here. Jimmy Wynn, 4-6 with a 4.79 ERA. He also registered 6 saves in the 87 season. On the replays, 2-5 with a 7.75 ERA. So he has not had a good replay so far. 38 innings pitched, 45 hits, 34 walks, 20 strikeouts. So 34 walks to 20 strikeouts is where he's had his problems. So we're going to see if hey, Jeremiah, sorry about your injuries there. Hope you're recovering well. So Quinones will lead it off here against Jim Wynn. Top of the 8th, tied at 1. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. So Jim Wynn comes out firing with a strikeout. That's the first Chicago White Sox pitcher strikeout of the game. Took them 8 innings to get there, but they got there. Here's Harold Reynolds. 6'8", switch hitter batting left. That's a base on balls. Not what you want to do, especially with a base runner like Harold Reynolds. And we've got a +1 hold, so we know Harold Reynolds is going to try to take advantage of that. He needs a 2 through 6 or a 9. Gets a good lead. And he gets the good lead. He's an 18, being held to 16, plus 1 to 17. 1 to 17, and he will steal this. He will steal the base. He got caught his last time up, but a 1 to 17 is much better odds. And he's in there, stolen base. So Harold Reynolds, he got caught in his first attempt, but he redeems himself this time around, steals second base, gets into scoring position with 1 out. He had 60 stolen bases on the season. This is stolen base number 27 for him on the replay. So he's in scoring position with 1 out for Mickey Brantley. .211 for Brantley, and that's a ground ball to shortstop A, so it's a good thing he stole the base, or it would have been a double play. As it is, he will hold at second base as Guillen looks him back. And now it's a clutch situation for Phil Bradley. Runner at second, 2 down. Bradley in the clutch will lose some hits here. 1-7, 2-5, and 2-10. Bradley also is 0 for 3 in the game. 1-8 for Bradley. Struck him out, so Jim Wynn effective in the 8th inning. It's 2 strikeouts even. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and we're still tied at 1 apiece. Bankhead's still in there, but I've got to believe that the bullpen will be starting shortly for Seattle. There are some lefties coming up here, so they do have a left-hander loosening the bullpen, Bill Wilkinson. The left-hander is loosening in the Seattle bullpen. And he might be coming in to face Baines and Walker after Bankhead pitches to Hill. You got those lefties coming up. Tied at 1, bottom of the 8th. Due up is Donnie Hill. He's a switch hitter. Hill is 0 for 3. It's a 112. It's a strikeout plus potential injury. Strikeout number 5 for Bankhead. And now we got to check for an injury. These are in-game injuries only because it is an as-played schedule, but I do allow injuries within the individual game. So 1 to 6, Donnie Hill can stay in it. 7 or 20, he's got to come out. He's got to come out. So we need a new second baseman for the White Sox, and that would be Mr. Fred Manrique. So Fred Manrique will take over at second base in the 9th inning due to the injury on Donnie Hill. So Manrique takes over. And that's going to be it for Bankhead. They're going to the lefty, Bill Wilkinson. Fresh arm out of the bullpen. Bankhead's going to go 7 1/3. And pitched very well. 5 hits and a run. And he walked 3, struck out 5. So Wilkinson coming on for the Mariners. He will be on to face Baines and Walker, the 2 lefties in the White Sox lineup. Let's get the numbers on Wilkinson. Wilkinson, first of all, we'll look at his real numbers. Wilkinson, real numbers. He was 3-4 with a 3.66 ERA. And he also garnered 10 saves in the 87 season. On the replay, Wilkinson is 3-1 with a 3.56 ERA and 4 saves. 30 innings pitched, 28 hits, 8 walks, 33 strikeouts. And he will be facing left-handed DH Harold Baines. Baines is 1 for 3, but Dick Williams going with the lefty-on-lefty matchup. 3-9 for Baines, and that's a ground ball to second. Smart move there. A 3-9 over here would have been a walk. So he gets the out with the lefty-righty, or lefty-lefty matchup, I should say. Here's Greg Walker. He is 0 for 2. 6-6, and it's a ballpark blast for Greg Walker. He does have normal power against lefties. Ballpark blast, but that's a 20. He needed a 4 or less. So just a deep fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. That will end the inning right there. And again, against well, I can't say that because it's a right-handed pitcher. Not a right-handed pitcher, or not a right-handed batter, I should say. So we're going to the ninth. We're tied at 1 apiece. It'll be Bradley, Phelps, and Presley due up for the White Sox. Don't know if they'll go to a lefty out of the pen for them or not. Of course, pinch hitting is available for Seattle if they did. So I think they might just stick with who they have. Just stick with Wynn. It's a bullpen game now. Bankhead and Long both get no decisions. Top of the ninth, tied at 1. 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error for Chicago. 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors for Seattle. About as close as you can get. The only error was the first batter of the game, and it did produce the Seattle run. So let me make sure. Did I put him down as should have been an unearned run here? That should be an unearned run, not an earned run because of the error. All right, here's Bradley. 4-8, and that's a 1-14 single base hit. Scott Bradley, he's got his 3rd hit of the game. Now, do they pinch hit or pinch run? I should say it's a good chance they need a better base runner here. They have plenty of catchers on the roster, so they will pull Bradley, and they'll go to somebody that can run. And let's see who's going to be the catcher. Dave Valley will come in and catch. Who they want to use as a runner? They're going to use They're going to use John Christensen to run. Although he's not much on stolen bases. You know what? No, they're not. They're going to use Mike Kingery to run. Kingery's going to run. And he's got a chance to get a steal. So, pinch running for Scott Bradley will be Mike Kingery. He is the pinch runner here in the 9th. And we know Valley is going to catch in the 9th. All right. So Jim Wynn with his +1 hold. And Kingery is your pinch runner. See if Kingery can get a lead. He needs a 3 through. So let's bring Kingery on the computer. I got to do that first before I do anything else. Got to do that first. So Kingery on to run. Let's see what Kingery did stolen base-wise, both on the real season and on the replay. Real season, he stole 7 bases, got caught 9 times. But in our replay, he has stolen 4 bases, only been caught once. So he's got a much better success rate, so we're going to try it. 3 through 7, he will steal it, or he will get the lead. However, a 9 through 12, he is caught stealing automatically. That's a 6, so he's going to steal it, or at least attempt it. He's a 15, being held as a 13, but the +1 is a 14. 1-14, and he steals the base. And he does. It's a possible throwing error on top of that on Carlton Fisk. His T rating is a 5. And no throwing error, but it will be a stolen base for Kingery as he gets into scoring position with nobody out. Nobody out. And that brings up Ken Phelps, the left-hander. Ken Phelps. To 111 for Phelps. He's going to ground it right back to Wynn. That'll freeze the runner there. And there's one away. But again, if he didn't steal the base, that would have been a double play on the ground ball A. All right, here's Presley. He's 0 for 3. Still got Kingery, who can run well at second base as the go-ahead run. 4-2, and that's a strikeout for Jimmy Wynn. Man, he has been effective. That's his 3rd strikeout. And now it's down to Alvin Davis, a lefty on lefty or righty on lefty matchup. Davis is 0 for 4. Man, you hate to take out Wynn, though. He's been pitching pretty well, so I think we're going to stick with Wynn. He'll take his chances with Davis in the clutch, actually. For Davis, he loses a hit on 3-8. Tempted to bring in a lefty, but Wynn is pitching pretty well, so I don't want to ruin that thing here, and we'll take their chances with Alvin Davis. 1-5, and he walked him. That's not the worst thing in the world, actually. Moves it over to John Moses, the center fielder, switch hitter. So it doesn't really matter who you go with on that one. In the clutch for Moses against a right-hander, he loses a hit on 2-9. So Wynn trying to get Moses and get out of the inning. 4-4. That's a ballpark single check. 1-9. That's a 12. So he gets him to pop it up to Walker at first. And Jimmy Wynn's going to go 2 solid shutout innings in the bullpen. That'll be it for Jimmy Wynn. But he does his job. He goes 2 innings, not allowing anything of consequence. He gives up 1 hit. He did walk 2, but he also struck out 3. More importantly, no runs. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. It's a chance for the White Sox to walk it off. Wilkinson back out. He'll be facing Calderon, Fisk, and Boston, but we could get a pinch hitter for Boston potentially. Now the computer has prompted me to bring in Dave Valley to catch. So Valley is the catcher now. And he will bat in the 3rd position. So this is now Dave Valley. All right, so Calderon. And let's see, Wilkinson's a -1 hold. Valley's arm is a -3, so he becomes a -4 now. So that's definitely going to help hold the run game. All right, bottom of the 9th, tied at 1. Calderon to lead it off. 2-5 for Calderon, and he grounds it to short. Quinones is there, 1 away. 1 down, and that brings up Pudge Fisk. One 8. He grounds it to Quinones at short. 2 down. And now here's Darryl Boston. Do they want to stick with Boston? Or do they want to go to... There's nobody on, so they like his defense in left field. So I think we're going to stick with Boston here. 6-11, and that's a fly ball left field X. We are looking at Mr. Bradley. He's a 2-E5. He makes the play. We go extra innings. 2-20, he definitely makes that. E5 and an 11, probably not going to be a problem. Or left fielder, E5. No, there's definitely no 11 there. So we are going to extra innings here in Comiskey Park. Tied at 1 apiece. White Sox will bring in their closer now because it's no longer a save situation. So Bob James will be coming in for the White Sox. He will be the new pitcher, as Jim Wynn gave him 2 good innings. And now it's Bob James. He's a +2 on his hold. So let's go to the computer and bring him in and get his numbers. All right, we'll get a look at his back of his card. Bob James, the closer. He was 4-6 with a 4.67 ERA and 10 saves in 1987. That's what he did real world. We'll look at the replay numbers. In the replay so far, he's 1-1 with 9 saves and a 5.96 ERA. 23 innings pitched, 26 hits, 8 walks, 16 strikeouts. scheduled to face Quinones, Reynolds, and Brantley. I don't know if Seattle wants to go with any kind of pinch hitter. These are the guys they have left on the bench. They have John Christensen, Domingo Ramos, and backup catcher Bob Kearney. They have used Bradley, and they've also used Kingery as pinch runner. So they've been used. So those are the three guys they have left. But to be honest, I think the guys batting are better than what's on the bench. So they're going to stick with who they have. So Ray Quinones will lead off the top of the 10th. So 1-8, and that's a ground ball to short. Hit right to Guillen. One down, and that's like, will anybody flinch? Nobody wants to flinch in this game. Here's Harold Reynolds. It's a 6-2 switch hitter, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Calderon. He's a 3E6. 3-12, he'll get to that. We're checking the E6 and the 13 as a right fielder. E6, there's a 14 here, but no 13. So Calderon makes the play. 2 up, 2 down. And that's going to take us to Mickey Brantley. That's a 2-6 for Brantley. 1-7's a double. That's a 6. So a 2-out double for Brantley. And now he's in scoring position for Phil Bradley. Clutch situation for Phil Bradley. Bradley in the clutch. Loses a couple of hits. 1-7, 2-5, and 2-10. So that's something to keep an eye on. Two 6, and he gets a single on a 1-3, but that's a 10, so he lines it to Guillen. And Seattle goes in the top of the 10th with no damage done. We go to the bottom of the 10th, chance for the White Sox to walk it off. Wilkinson's still in there. And he is set to face Royster, Williams, and Guillen. Unless they want to go to a new pitcher, which they might. Wilkinson went an inning and 2/3, but he'd only faced 5 batters, got them all out. So they might just leave him in there. I think they're going to leave Wilkinson in there. He's going to stay in. Despite facing the righties. Because he's retired all 5 he has faced. Hello, Brown. Good to see you. All right. So Royster is going to lead it off. 2-8 against the lefty. He grounds it to Presley at third. 1 away. Let me back this up now because I feel like I'm losing some of the cards here on the corners. So let's back this up just a hair so we don't lose anything there. In fact, I can probably shift this over just a bit to make sure everything fits all right. And then I might be able to get a tad closer. How about that? All right, we'll go with that. See how that works. Here's Ken Williams. He's 2 for 3 with 2 doubles in the game. .611 for Wilkinson is a ground ball first base X. That is going to be Alvin Davis. He's a little shaky. 4E9 for Alvin Davis. 4-7. That could get through. We'll see. 4-7. Nope. 4-6 would have gotten through. 6 or less would have gotten through, but not a 7. He makes it with a G3. That's an 11. He's an E9. E9. There's no 11 there, so Davis gets to it and flips to Wilkinson covering for out number 2. And now here's Ozzie Guillen. Guillen is 0 for 4. 2-8 for Guillen, and that's a single. There's anti-clutch there, but we're not in a clutch situation, so that doesn't really come into play. But now the White Sox have a runner that has some speed, so we could see Guillen try for a steal and get himself into scoring position. Let's check out his stolen base numbers, both real world and replay. In the real season, he stole 25 bases, got caught 8 times. On the replay, he's stolen 9 bases, got caught 4 times. So he needs a 6 or a 7. However, it is a -4 hole for Wilkinson. So he dropped down to a 1 to 12 if he got the lead. Still 60% chance. I still think that's a good enough chance to go for it. Doesn't get the lead, so it's a moot point. All right, here's Manrique. This is his first at bat since coming in for the injured Donnie Hill. Manrique on the replay is hitting .225, a homer, 11 driven inning at .258 real world. Chance for Manrique to be a hero here. 1-6, but he's going to strike out. Not much of a hero there. So the 10th inning is done, and that's going to be it for Wilkinson. Wilkinson's going to go 2 2/3 out of the bullpen. Gave up a hit, nothing else, and he struck out 1. So we go to the top of the 11th, still tied at 1 apiece. James out for his second inning of work. He has a 2 for fatigue, so he's certainly still capable. And leading off will be Dave Valley. This will be his first at bat since coming in for the when they pinch ran for Bradley. So Valley will get his first shot at it. Valley on the replay hitting .234, 4 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .256 real world. So I think now that I'm getting further out, I'm going to have to back this up one more notch. There we go. Leave it there for now. All right, here is Valley. 4-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Ian makes the play. He's been busy all game at shortstop, but he's been up to the task every time. 1 away, and here's Ken Phelps. He's dangerous, even though he is 1 for 4. He can put the Mariners ahead with 1 swing of the bat. That's a 2-3, and he just did it right on call. How about that? How is that for calling it? How is that for calling it? 2-3. And Ken Phelps on a 2-3, a solid home run, as clean as can be. Ken Phelps gets the job done, and he would have done it against a lefty as well. So it didn't matter who you would have brought in. A 2-3 would have been a home run regardless. So Bob James, not sure it's much consolation to him to know that, but home run for Ken Phelps. Let's get the numbers on Phelps. That is his 14th home run of the replay. He had 27 of them real world. Mariners now lead it 2-1, and Ed Nunez, their closer, loosening in the bullpen. But James still has to get through the inning. Here's the hound dog, Jim Presley. 1-3 for Presley. That's a ballpark single check. 1-9. That's a base hit. So Presley gets the base hit. Here's Alvin Davis, who might need a new pitcher for James because he's struggling a bit. If we look at the White Sox bullpen, they do have 1 left-hander remaining, Brian Clark, and that's where they're going to try to keep the game close. They're going to Brian Clark out of the bullpen with the lefty Davis coming up. So we can't close the book on James yet because he is responsible for Presley. He gave up 3 hits. He's gone an inning and a third. Gave up 3 hits in the run, and that's it. So we don't know if that's going to be a 1 or a 2. I'll put a 1 there for now. It could change to a 2. And Brian Clark, left-hander, will be coming in from the bullpen for the White Sox to take on the lefty Alvin Davis. Clark, you can see his numbers on this card. He is, in the real world, was 0-0 with no saves and a 2.41 ERA. On the replay rather, Clark 0-0 with a 2.25 ERA, 8 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. So see what he can do against Alvin Davis. Presley at first, 1 out, not being held. Lefty-lefty matchup. 6-3 is a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Boston. He's a 2-4. That's why we didn't want to pinch hit for Boston. We want to keep his defense in there. 2 and a 17 is good all day long. E4 and a 12 you think wouldn't be a problem, and it's not. You need a 4, 3, 15, or 18 for an error. So good play there for Daryl Boston, out number 2. And that'll send up John Moses. Switch hitter. It's a 1-6 against the lefty, and that's a line out to third, and that'll end the inning. So Brian Clark certainly did his job. But we're going to the bottom of the 11th. Seattle now leads it 2-1, and they will turn to their closer. Even though he's not all that great, he's still their closer, Edwin Nunez. We'll get the numbers on Nunez as we bring him on. Coming up for the White Sox will be Baines, Walker, and Calderon, a couple of lefties, but they still want to go to their closer. So Dick Williams is trusting his closer, Edwin Nunez. Nunez, and we'll get his card close up. Nunez, 1987, was 3-4 with a 3.80 ERA and 12 saves. So he's going for the lucky 13th save. And he's got a -4 hold, which with Valley makes him a -5. That'll certainly help the run game as well, or help to slow down the run game. But it's going to be Baines, Walker, and Calderon, 2 up here against Ed Nunez. To 3-7 for Baines, and he struck him out. Strikeout. 3-7 is a strikeout on Harold Baines. So Nunez comes in throwing smoke. Didn't matter about lefty-righty. He says, I'm throwing smoke. I don't care what it is. I don't care what handed you're batting with. Here's Walker. That's a 2-5 for Walker, and he grounds it to first. Alvin Davis steps on the bag. 2 down. So last chance for the Sox. It is Ivan Calderon. He's capable of tying the game with one swing of the bat. Calderon had 28 home runs during the season. He's got 7 so far in the replay. 6-6 for Nunez, and that's a solid single, so the game will continue as Calderon reaches. Don't know if there'll be a pinch runner for Calderon or not. He's actually a pretty decent runner. Due up his fist. They will have to hold Calderon on because he does have the asterisk there. But with that -5, we're not trying any steals, that's for sure. So they will have to hold him on, though, so it could open up a hole in the right side of the infield. It's up to the venerable Pudge Fisk. 3-9 for Fisk, and that's a single to center field. Single to center. The center fielder arm. Moses is a 0. Calderon was being held, makes him a 13, so we're not going to make the last out at third base, that's for sure. They will hold him up at second base. So first and second, 2 outs, and it's up to Daryl Boston to get it done. 258 hitter on the real season. So we're not going to pinch hit for him, plus he's left-handed. Clutch situation for Boston, looking at his card. Right there in the middle, 2 7s an anti-clutch hit, 3 8s an anti-clutch hit. So he's got to be careful about those little landmines. But a base hit could tie this ball game. That's a 3-4 for Boston, and he grounds it right back to Nunez, and that's going to do it. Mariners hold on and win it by the score of 2-1. Nunez picks up lucky save number 13. Tough luck loss goes to Bob James. Clark 2/3 of an inning, giving up nothing. So we'll go to the box score and wrap this thing up and get you ready for Friday's game. Once we get everything in the system here and record these results. For the Mariners, 2 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. For the White Sox, 1 run, 8 hit, and 1 error. Winning pitcher is Wilkinson in relief. He improves to 4-1. The losing pitcher is Bob James. He drops to 1-2. And the save to Nunez, his 13th. Nunez pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, but nothing else. White Sox left 9 on base. Mariners left on 8. Don't know who you might want to give the player a game to. Phelps hit the home run to put him ahead, but there's a lot of good pitching in there as well. So it's kind of hard to say one way or the other about how you would want to treat that. But game 479 is in the books. We look ahead to tomorrow. We will be at the Metrodome for game number 480. It is the Cleveland Indians against the Minnesota Twins. Tom Candiotti against Mike Smithson. That'll be the matchup on Friday morning. But in this one, didn't look like a good game to start out as far as on paper, but it actually played out very, very nicely. Very clean game. Lots of good relief pitching. Lots of strategy involved. Pinch running, stolen bases, all kinds of stuff. So pretty fun game, in my opinion. Like I said, when I started this stream, I, for some reason, forgot to plug in my headset. So all the volume on this is coming through the webcam microphone. So I don't know how well that's doing compared to my normal headset. But let's see, live stream on Basic. Can't wait for Basic Sunday. Yeah, it's definitely coming back on Sunday. Will be Sunday Basic Sunday. That will definitely take place. It'll be from the 1962 season again. I'm not sure what teams I'm going to choose. It's not any kind of replay. I'm just picking random games from opening day on the 1962 season, just to put the basic out there. And if I'm going to do basic, I got to have basic cards that have the charcoal background. It would be horrible to play basic in this with this monstrous blue background. Can't even hardly see the cards. So I would definitely not want to play basic in this one at all. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced. But again, Sunday we will have the Sunday Basic Sunday. That's usually a recording. I'll probably record that either today or tomorrow and have it uploaded for Sunday since I don't do any streaming on Sundays. Saturday is the NBC Game of the Week on Fall Classic 1979. It will be the same Seattle Mariners, but a different group of Seattle Mariners, against the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. Dennis Eckersley against Odell Jones is that matchup. That'll be on Saturday. But tomorrow, we will be in the Metrodome. And we'll have the Cleveland Indians taking on the Minnesota Twins. That'll be the game tomorrow morning. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all had a great, are having a great Thursday wherever you are. And as usual, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.